I'm live. How do I flick my camera back? It's the wrong way. Oh gosh, here we go. It's on the wrong way. Okay, here we go. Y'all, that thumbnail was an accident. Ooh, that thumbnail was an accident. How do I get out of here? Oh, I don't care. Exit. Wait, cancel. Oh Lord. I'm trying to. Let me see. No. Okay. I'm trying to get my whole life together right now. I did not mean to upload this sideways image. But welcome to the first live of 2020, y'all. Happy New Year. Let me see. Let me say I want this normal. Do I have to do this right now? Comments, live chat. I see somebody is saying something. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get situated here. Don't click off. Let me see how I can do this so I can see. And oh, you know what? I done locked the computer and I'm struggling trying to get this thing mounted. It keeps popping off. Happy New Year. Oh, Josiah, you're breaking the rules already. Remember what I told you. If it stops working, then you're going to just have to watch regular TV, Saya. I'm doing something right now. All right, the joy of children. Happy New Year. Okay. So if you're new to my lives, typically I stream from my phone and then I use my laptop so that I can see the comments. So give me just a moment because I'm trying to mount my phone tripod so y'all are not getting this horrible quality live. So give me just a second. And then let me mute my thing up here so you're not hearing an echo because that's not going to be good. Hold on just a second. My first resolution was to be on time with my lives because y'all know I usually be on CP time. My phone is just doing everything that I'm not needing it to do right now. Okay. I think that's presentable. The only thing that I don't like is that I can't see it right here. I don't know how to make that go away. Like I'm trying to say I'm okay with the way it is. I don't know. Oh, I'm blocking y'all. I'm sorry. This is an amateur move. How do I do this? I'm saying, okay, the thumbnail was fine. I said normal. Okay, I got it to go away. Okay. Hold on, how do I make this stay? I gotta get a new tripod for my phone because this one is wonky. All right. Happy New Year, y'all. Woo! Thank you for your patience while my phone was doing all that crazy flipping and whatnot. It's not going to be doing that no more. So, first off, I want to tell y'all thank you for all your support in 2019. For YouTube, it was a great year. And I intend to come at you all once a week with a live video to connect with you and talk about the real stuff and reflect. I have my husband here, Des, and he's here. He's going to be sharing his perspective. And today we're going to be talking about the new year and reflecting on things that we may have learned in 2019, things that we may have learned about ourselves, and just, putting it into the universe, put it in out there that we want better and what we are going to do going forward. This is not going to be like a new year, new me type thing, but it is going to be a reflection in that you have to reflect on what happened and learn and decide what patterns you're going to repeat in order to find your success for the next year. So stay tuned if that sounds like something you're interested in. I do want to let y'all know that I did upload a new video. So if you are another creator watching this, Check out that video. I often get questions about how I grew on YouTube or what to do on YouTube, how to have a successful channel. And I still consider myself to be a small creator, but I'm always trying to help others. So that video gives a little insight on how to make the best of your networking opportunities, and you can start applying it right now. So that's that. I'm gonna let Des introduce himself since we're in a new year, just in case some of y'all don't know him. And he can talk about his business or whatever he wants to talk about.
Oh, I'm Des. I am a small business owner, father, husband. Um, had a had a 2019 I prayed for, both ups and down. Very appreciative. So we'll definitely get into that a little bit later on in the video. But glad to see another year. True blessing, and definitely looking to build on the success of last year.
Yours was all short and sweet.
Yeah, yeah. We'll try to keep it short. I'm sure a lot of people will be going back to work tomorrow. So,
Myself included. So I guess I want to start off by saying that my December ended off strong because I started to do some reflecting, and um Josiah, you're gonna be in trouble. Okay. So, sorry, my son is being hard headed. Literally, before I started the live, I told him that if the tablet stops working, to put it down and watch the other channel. And if he interrupts my live, he's going to be in trouble when we're done. And he's still sitting there yelling throughout my live. Like, these kids and their attachments to their tablet and YouTube, like, it's annoying. Like, when I was little, I didn't have a tablet, okay? I used to play with dolls, and the other kids my age played with toys as well. We did not play with things and look at something full time like these children of this generation do. It's so funny. Okay, I'm trying to get this to stay. Ooh, got it. All right, now we're going to scoot back and it'll stay. But anyway, I was saying that the end of 2018, end of 2019, I was in a good place reflecting because I started to kind of pray and write in my journal and read books. And I read this book called The Secret to, I think it's called The Secret Life or The Secret Behind Love Languages, something. But it's supposed to be a book that helps people understand how love works and how people have different ways that they require to be loved in order to feel love. And I bought the book because honestly, I felt like I wanted to understand my husband better, and I wanted to understand like why our first year of marriage was so hard for me and hard for us. And I've been hearing all along, like, basically the same advice that I had given y'all on my channel, where I was saying, like, you know, all the honeymoon phase wears away and the wedding planning and all the fun kind of settles because you get into real life and you start paying bills and you start seeing real things happen and you start to see how people react to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, the book really gave me good perception and a good understanding of things, not even just because of marriage or just around marriage, but just around myself and like how I think, how I act, how I try to show people I love them because of how I desire to be loved and vice versa. And it made me get into a point where I'm like, okay, I want to start reading books about things each month if I can, because it allows me to think in ways that work and the regular mommy duties and wife duties don't necessarily challenge me to think. So, to make a long story short, I realized that part of the reason why 2019 was hard for me was because I did not have the right mindset. A lot of the times, I was focusing on what I didn't have instead of focusing on what I did have. A lot of the time, I was focusing on what was not how I imagined it to be or how I wanted it to be. And it made things harder than it could have been because my perception was wrong. And so, in the book that I read, in this other book that I'm reading right now about abundance, and even when I went to church on New Year's Eve, it seemed to be a common theme of enjoying your life, living to the fullest, and appreciating the now. So I'm currently working on like an appreciation challenge for myself. It's a personal thing. I did not get this from the Secret Love Languages book. I got it from a book that I'm reading by, I think her name is Lisa Knowles, Lisa. It's Lisa something. But anyway, her book tells you to try to find at least like a couple things a week that you're appreciative of. My bank of appreciation had been so low because of everything that I went through that I wasn't showing appreciation for anything. I almost could hear myself complaining all the time, basically, about everything. Like, oh, I don't have this, or this happened at work, or, I'm broke because I paid bills and things like that. So now, the last week of 2019, I keep saying 18 because I'm not used to 2020 yet, but the last week of the year, I really spent my time kind of slowing down and focusing in on what I'm thankful for in each day and writing in my journal, what am I thankful for? And I honestly can admit that I have been happier in that last week than I have been in several months because my perception has changed. So, I'm to a point now where I know the potential that I have, and I'm realizing that I have a lot to be grateful for, and that I know my purpose. And as long as I continue to have the right attitude and put in the work, everything will fall into place. And when those things happen that challenge us and make us feel like we're not winning in life, you have to keep your faith and keep your positivity up and not let it define you. You can't let your finances define you, which, honey, I, I can speak to it. If you do that, you will not be happy because the moment you're not where you want to be, you will feel like everything is crashing down. You can't put your happiness in your spouse because if your spouse is not happy with you, then you will not be happy. You can't put it in your kids because if they act up, then you're not happy. You can't put it in your parents. You really have to put your happiness in yourself because at the end of the day, there's always going to be self. So, my love language, thank you for asking. My love language is acts of service, and my secondary one is quality time. So for those of y'all who don't know, everybody has love languages. Some people would disagree. There's some people that may have more or less than what the book discusses, but according to the book, everybody has 5 love languages. So those love languages are words of affirmation. Is it words of affirmation? Words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. And basically just talk about what they are really quick. Um, Words of affirmation basically means that you feel love when people show you their appreciation with their words, when they thank you for doing things, when they encourage you with their words, when they uplift you, that sort of thing. That makes you feel the most love. Now, acts of service is basically you feel most love when people show you with their actions that they care by doing things. For instance, you come home from work and on the way home you're on the phone with your spouse and you're like, I'm so tired, I just want to get in the bed and go to sleep when I get home. And when you get home, your spouse has cooked dinner for you or your bath for you or just did something as a small gesture, not necessarily a gift but just an action to show that he or she heard you are tired and that they're trying to show that they care in a way to help relieve that tiredness from you. Now, quality time means that you like memories and you like to spend time with people. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to do anything like extravagant, but you like to make memories with the people that you love. And you also enjoy quality conversation. So I said that that's my second one because I definitely enjoy talking with people. I feel like there's so much value in conversation, but it has to be good conversation. I get frustrated if I'm talking to somebody and I feel like they're not listening because that's not quality conversation. That's just us being in the same room. And then the receiving gifts is really self-explanatory. It means that you like gifts. Like, you like the thought of someone thinking of you and bringing you something. Now, I feel like everybody likes to receive gifts, but a person that really likes to receive gifts as their main love language will feel unloved if they haven't received any physical gifts in a while. And then what was the last one? Physical touch. Oh, physical touch means like it's that one's kind of self-explanatory too, but you like to like besides intimacy and sex, you just like hugs and kisses and when you're feeling down, if somebody gives you a hug, that makes you feel embraced and loved during that time. And if somebody doesn't, then that may not communicate with you as well if that's one of your love languages. I was gonna ask you what yours was, so thank you for telling me. Physical stuff and gifts and acts of service. What's wrong, Chris? Why are you not feeling well?
I'm just saying he's sick.
Oh, I hope you feel better. Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't stand when people aren't paying attention either, especially because it's like, hey, Lamika, Happy
Happy
New
New
Year,
Year.
soror. So, yeah, like when you feel like somebody is not paying attention to you, then it kind of makes you feel like what you're saying is not important to them. And so, I know that that's like part of quality time, but to me, like an act of service is also listening because you're caring enough about what I'm saying to you to stop what you're doing and hear me and actually listen. That makes you feel good, especially when you're venting to somebody that you love and they just are listening ear or they make you feel better. They offer those words of affirmation like, oh, I know that you had a hard day, but, you know, tomorrow will be better and it's not your fault. Those things make you feel good versus if, they're just not listening to you or if they don't seem to care about what you're discussing. But anyway, reading that book somehow brought me to a point where I wanted to read this other book. And the book that I'm reading now is about having an abundant life. And basically, the book I'm currently reading, her name is Lisa Nichols, I think. She basically discusses how you have to change your mindset in order to have an abundant life. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about where you are right now. It's literally about how you perceive your current life and how you treat yourself. So basically, it's like if you see yourself as an entrepreneur with a successful business and multiple streams of income, you have to start believing that now and walking into that right now in your current state. Like the things that you do now, you have to start with today in order to prepare for the future. And so you have to change the way that you think basically. Like I was saying, last year I spent a lot of the year just being like down about what I didn't have and down about what wasn't. And it made me really miss and waste a lot of my time not seeing what I did have. Not seeing that what I had in 2019 was what I was praying for in 2015. And now I have it, and I'm so busy focused on where I want to be next that I'm not appreciating the now. So going into this year, like I said, I'm not going to give y'all the whole cliche new year, new me, but I will say that I am trying to go into this year and maintain a new mindset because your mind is so powerful. A lot of times people find success because they end up believing before they see it. That's where faith comes in. So, like, before you even see the results, you start believing that you are, so you act accordingly. Go ahead, Des. I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Oh no, go ahead and finish. Whatever you got.
Go ahead.
Okay. My 2019 was a bit different. Just starting at
We're not doing this year.
not at all. We're not even gonna start with this.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to. Hold on, y'all.
We can't even get through
This.
20 minutes at a doggone. Well, we right at about 20 minutes. We can't even get through that without.
I don't know.
Ooh, okay.
I don't even know. Hold on. I used to be able to click on it last year.
Sorry to put them. I already put them somewhere different. I hope that's what that means. See, here
And
we
then
go.
there's people be having the same like
A
accounts.
bunch of.
Oh, here it is. I found it. Sorry, y'all.
There we go.
I'm really sorry about that. I can't go. This was not letting me do it. Okay, there we go.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, they already been up. Okay.
Okay. Um,
My block game is pretty strong, but I've had some times where we go live and then we end up having like
oh,
a person that keeps on like coming back from separate accounts. It's kind of annoying. Hi. That's good. What did you cook for New Year's? And Devs was about to talk, so we'll go back to he was about to start. So he didn't start what he was about to start. Okay.
2019 for me was different. I prayed for a lot of. I prayed for clarity and for struggle, which is different, and it wasn't just struggle for the sake of it, but struggle learn. Um, it was struggle to learn and struggle to grow, to see things that I was probably bypassing, and just understanding where understanding the direction I wanted to go in, and just walking in that, building my business, and it definitely put a lot of things into perspective. Um, a lot of this year was definitely spent thinking and analyzing a lot of the decisions I had made personally, and dealing with the fact that a lot of people didn't really understand the moves because it wasn't really the position that they may find desirable or want to be in themselves. So a lot of it was spent just analyzing, trying to work, understanding that as a small business you're gonna struggle. A lot of people are gonna sit here and they're gonna criticize and they're gonna say what they have to say, but you have to stay strong. And with a lot of that stuff, it definitely worked on my mental health a lot, um, and a lot more than I would have desired for it to. Um, my anxiety was way up, still has been way up. Unfortunately, I did have an anxiety attack a couple of weeks ago, which was scary to me and scary to Yosha. Scared the crap out of both of us. But it was. I feel like that was a necessity too. Everything for this year has come together, and I feel like I ended the year on a better foot than I started in the middle game. I did last week finally file for my official LLC paperwork, so I was very happy for that. Very happy to have a couple of potential business opportunities come earlier this week. Received another email for a business opportunity yesterday, so I feel like the year ended a lot better than it started and maybe hitting the middle point. But I was very grateful because I needed all of those things in order for me to make the progress that I had been asking for. I needed all those things. Mental strength is you really have to have it no matter what road you're walking. All of these roads are hard, and we don't realize that because sometimes we get so caught up on the road we're traveling that we just bypass everybody else's. And that's one thing where I had to start looking at myself and understanding that it's not my role to judge other people or to try to sit down and make sense of their decisions. That's not my job. My job is to try to meet them where they are and to understand them even if I don't agree, and to make sure I'm being a good person. And that's definitely something I want to work on going deeper into 2020, because it makes a difference with me and with Yosha, our relationship, but it also makes a difference with Josiah. because he's learning from us essentially. And with him learning from us, he's learning behavior that he may not understand, and it can kind of create habits, both good and bad. So I want to make sure I'm being a better example for him, and just being mindful of the fact that he is watching at all times, even when I don't think he is.
Yeah, I think for me, what 2019 taught me also is that I can't fix everything.
Right.
And on top of that, I realized that I have to take care of myself because I haven't been. You know, I've been a mother for the last 4.5 years, and I've been a wife and a girlfriend. And before that, I was somebody else's girlfriend. And before that, I was somebody else's girlfriend. And I've been a daughter. And I've never really gotten the opportunity to really know me for me and just kind of take care of me. So it's kind of like this year I'm going to be more selfish, but not in the like I'm going to brag about it on social media. I'm taking care of me. You know how people kind of like
Yeah,
post
you getting
those.
to the point of everybody wants to show, oh, well, I'm gonna be selfish and make sure it's
It's not
not
about that for
selfish
me
in
this
that level,
year.
right?
For me, it's literally about finding peace and maintaining peace
Right.
and not feeling guilty for doing things for myself
Right.
because I'm trying to be a good wife or trying to be a good mom to my son or daughter or sister or whatever. Not letting everybody else's problems be my problems. Like when you're married, you still are two individuals, but in the beginning of a relationship and in the beginning of a marriage, you may lose yourself a little trying to adjust to all of that. And I think that 2019 helped me realize that I don't have to be on Desmond's hip for everything.
And a lot of people,
And
sorry, but a lot of other people do that to you too when they see you as a couple. I think me and Yoshi used to talk about this a lot right after we first got married because we would go places individually and folks would be like, well, how is Yoshi? And I'm just like, I'm standing right here too. Hello, how are you?
and that
And
what I just want to let you know, wait until you have a child with me, because
I no, I
Desmond is Josiah's
no
stepfather,
people do
and
that with
so,
Saya now
but
anyway.
I want you to know though it's going to be different because with me, I realized that when I became a mom, I was no longer relevant. It was how's the baby? I could be at the club with friends. Where's Saya at? He's not here. We're at the club. Like he's safe.
Yeah, that
But I'm trying to, get back to me in this moment. And it's the same thing with getting married. You become one literally, and people see you as his wife in everything that you do. So it's like, how's your husband? How's the baby? How's this? And it's like when that isn't going so great, it kind of makes you feel like,
I know it.
you know, it's just a reminder basically of what's not going well, and you have to keep your identity. I'm really big on that. You have to keep your identity. You have to keep your wow. Hold on just a second, y'all.
I would. Yeah, on that one because
Sorry, y'all. Mr. Jeremy O'Neill wanted to use derogatory language, so
he's
YouTube will be watching that. YouTube will be looking back at that because I report and block. I don't have time to go back and forth with people. Okay. So anyway, you kind of lose your individualism in a way, and people kind of group you together. So I think this year, with the clarity, blocked. But anyway, with the clarity that we gained, I think that it'll be a better year just in general because I think I have a better sense of what Des needs for me, and I don't know if I can't speak for him. I don't know if he has a better sense. But that's the thing, like the whole point is you're going to be married. You're supposed to be married for the rest of your life, so you're going to continue to learn each other. There's going to be change. I'm a Taurus. I don't like change. I especially can't stand changes that I didn't plan for, that I don't have time to, you know, prepare for because I'm a earth sign, so I like stability. And outside of signs, that's just my personality. So even when I change things, I ponder it for a while before I make the decision because I like to be able to control it and prepare as much as possible. But like I said, last year really taught me you can plan things all you want to, but God laughs when we plan because it don't always go the way you want it to go. So it's like you have to try to go with the flow. Like with some things towards the end of the year, I stopped setting expectations. I just said I'm gonna go with it, and I enjoyed those experiences much better than the ones where I was trying to make sure everything went perfect. Everything was just the way I wanted it to go. Like I said, when I started off the year, I was still bitter about my wedding not going as planned, and I was all mad and blah, blah, blah. And I realized, like, all the time and energy that I put into that, I should have instead put into more counseling, more preparation financially. I should have put that in somebody else's hands because the effort and the time and the money probably ended up being close and in the same anyway. And so now I'm just like, I'm learning that I can't do everything and it's okay to ask for help. Like, as a wife, it's okay to ask your husband for help. He might be tired, you might be tired, but you don't have to be more tired than he is just because you're trying to save face with your husband. And vice versa. Y'all have to communicate with each other. And that's for any relationship. My biggest advice is to be honest and open. If you don't like something, go ahead and say it. Because if you don't and you wait, it gets worse over time, and then the person that's doing something you don't like gets confused when you finally do say something about it. And that works with your friendships too. Like, it doesn't matter if you've known your friend for 10 years. If they're doing something that you don't like, call them out on it. Don't be rude about it, but just let them know, like, sis, I don't like when you do this, and it makes me feel like this. And I haven't said anything, and because I thought you would eventually get it, but hey, you didn't, so I'm letting you know I don't like that. And either y'all can go through it, grow through it, and y'all be fine, or y'all won't be friends. But hey, at least you're not accepting behaviors from people that are supposed to love you that are hurting you. Don't be afraid to speak up about those things, and know that everything is not going to go your way. That was the hardest pill for me to swallow. Everything will not always go your way. And that's okay. But be thankful for the things that did go your way. Be thankful, like, for everything that you don't have in your life. There is someone else that is worse off that doesn't have ten things that you already have. We get so caught up in comparisons this day and age because we are a internet generation. We are always plugged in. We are always on our phone. We are always watching something on TV. We are always with a device in our hand in the know of what's going on. And when you are watching Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, you start comparing yourself to everybody else, and then you start appreciating where you are, what you have. You're seeing people graduate and travel and do things, and you haven't done those things yet. Or maybe you did those things years ago, but you haven't done anything quite equivalent to what you're seeing the people around you do. And you start feeling like what you're doing and where your progress isn't good enough. And I'm here to tell you, don't be like that in 2020. You know what you are. You know where you are. You know where you started at the end of 2019. You know where you were at the beginning of 2019. I tell you that you should reflect. A lot of folks are saying this is the year of clear vision because the whole 2020 thing. But I think in order to get clear vision, you have to reflect first. So take a look at where you've been the last few years, and decide, like, where do you want to be by the end of this year? What are you going to do this month to get you closer to that goal? If it doesn't match up with where your goals are, then you may not need to be doing it. Like, for me, my goal, I weighed myself today and I gained some weight, but I'm way less than I weighed at the beginning of the year last year. So I have a maximum goal of 60 pounds to lose. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like a lot. But when you divide 60 by 12, that's 5, y'all. I can lose 5 pounds a month on average. So that's one of my goals. Another goal of mine is just to be more consistent and do more intentful YouTube networking. I've been afraid. I don't think I have social anxiety. I wouldn't say that, but I've been afraid to reach out to people to ask for collaborations. So this will be the year where I'm just gonna go for it and see where it takes my channel, because I did the engagement groups last year. I just made a new video about engagement groups. Go check that out. It was posted today at 6 o'clock. It's up right now. Don't leave the live. Watch it after the live. But my point is, I started with the engagement groups. That gave me a lot of insight. I met a lot of awesome people that way. I connected with so many YouTubers, and I still use those. But I think the next step for me would be collaborating with other channels that are within my niche. I saw. Thank you, Miss Lee. I was trying to get my live together. I was trying to get Saya situated. I haven't even commented to anybody except it might have been you. Somebody who commented first, I think, because I was putting my pinned comment on there, so I had time to respond. But I'm gonna respond to all of them. I think I either met you in Black Girls Who Blog plus YouTube or Melanin Content Creators. I'm an admin, or I'm not an admin. I'm a moderator in that second group that I just mentioned. So I think that one might be the one. But I'm in Black Girls Who Blog plus YouTube too, and I met a lot of people there. I'm in like 15 groups. But I would say I use 6 heavily. Um, but I'm in like 15. And then I'm also in weight loss groups and like work from home groups and mom groups. So between 15 and 16 groups altogether, I use. I try, but I'm telling you, really the most growth really just comes from being on YouTube, because YouTube feeds your videos to the community of YouTube as people watch and share and like your videos. Like, I mean, the engagement groups work too, because you get new people that may have never came across your channel organically by searching for what you're putting out. But as far as really growing, I feel like the fullest growth comes with strangers. So you have to have something that's valuable to people that don't know you, people that are not YouTubers that are trying to grow too, and that will subscribe because they want something. So that's a story for another live. But yeah, I'm just trying to be more, get myself out there more, be more consistent. I have a lot of great ideas that I sat on in 2019 because I was going through feeling down, depressed, focusing on what wasn't going right. And now I'm really trying to just keep this good feeling that I've been having and use that to fuel my content. Now, don't work based on how I feel, but based on what my goal is. So it's like, if I know I want to get a video out every week and a live out every week, honestly, to be quite real with y'all, I really want to have 2 to 3 uploads a week plus a live video every week, because I feel like that puts my content out there in the YouTube algorithm enough for people to see the content and actually see that I'm serious. And what happens is sometimes I get in a groove and I'm ahead, and y'all see video come out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a live video. And then sometimes y'all might get one video a week. That's how it's going to be so far. I have a video coming out once a week, but they're good videos and they're kind of longer. So I kind of was intentful on that, because I think sometimes if your traffic to your page is kind of slow, then it doesn't, to me, I can't speak for everybody, but to me, if your traffic to your page is kind of slow and you're not getting a lot of views, to me, it doesn't make sense to post a video every day of the week and you're only getting 5 views on each video. You might as well do it once a week or twice a week and try to get people to go towards those videos first and then start doing multiple uploads. Like, a lot of people were doing Vlogmas last month. I'm trying to make that more straight because it's bothering me. Okay. I cut off Dez. I'm sorry, Dez. There you go. I don't know. I'm getting into tripod. That's gonna be a resolution for January. Okay. What I was saying is, sometimes people want to do Vlogmas and stuff because they think it's gonna like help their channel grow, and maybe for some channels it does. But what I found when I did, I love Five Below. We have one down the street. I'm gonna look. I got this one from Walmart.com, and it worked really well until I popped the little ball out of the thingy, the holder part. So it's been the tripod's been kind of iffy since then, but I'll check Five Below because I like that place. They have good stuff. But yeah, to make a long story short and like relevant for y'all, I'm just saying like just because you post a bunch of videos doesn't mean you're gonna grow. I really meant what I said when I said you have to add value. Whether you make people laugh, whether you make people think, whether you teach people how to do something, entertain them, that's value. If you're not adding value and you just kind of doing it just to do it, you're probably not gonna get anywhere like that. Also, I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but I watch a lot of We TV. And one show that I watch is called Love After Lockup. I love the show. It's relevant to me because like on the second season of the show, there was like a love triangle, and I could relate to the show because my past relationship, I went through something like that. Like I was the Meg and the Sarah. Okay, if y'all don't watch, that just basically means I dated somebody that was in jail, and they was playing me and playing other people, and I was just telling Des how I could have got a check if that show would have been around back then, and I wouldn't have been so mad. Hey, cousin, Happy New Year. So, to make a long story short, I was doing commentary on my Twitter heavy when it first came out, and people were retweeting me. They loved it. And I was like, man, I should start going live every Friday after the show and giving my commentary because I feel like it would go in with real talk. The real talk part of my channel because I would be telling y'all what I really think and how much of that do I feel is realistic or is it kind of like fake or whatever. So that might be something I experiment with because the new season of Life After Lockup premieres this Friday, January 3rd, and I will be watching it. So I was thinking about experimenting with some commentary behind it because I watched the show faithfully. Now I will say like it kind of got really fake like this last season, the third season of Love After Lockup. So I got really behind. I was like 5 episodes behind, but I T-voted and I watched them. But now that they put Meg back on the show, I like Meg. She's one of my favorite storylines, Meg and Sarah. And pretty much all the people that are on Life After Lockup were interesting, which is why they got a spinoff show. The Love After Lockup people are hit or miss. Like some of it was not believable at all. But anyway, my point is I was thinking that I could get on Twitter and do commentary while I'm watching the show and then kind of link them over to YouTube to watch my live after so we can talk about it together back and forth. Like, did y'all see this? Blah, blah, blah. And then I have content on my channel from when I was in that situation talking about like getting played, and those videos are popping like thousands of views because people are in that situation in real life. So I could even do like scheduled content around, you know, are you getting played, ways to know you're getting played, how realistic is that situation, should you date somebody that's locked up. Like I could really do something with that. The only thing and the only reason why I really haven't is number one, I'm not in that situation anymore. So I can speak from my experiences back then, but I don't really want my channel to be known for that because it's ghetto. Like I mean, I can be ratchet in my fun every now and then, but I'm just in a different place in my life. So it's like I could really see myself go into that, but it's just like, I'm trying to elevate, but I know what people like. People like drama. They like ratchetness. They love stuff like Love and Hip Hop and all of that. I don't even watch that show, but the Love After Lockup thing attracted me because I was in the situation before. So it's like, even though some of it is clearly fake and staged and scripted, I don't know. WeTV just gets me all the way together. Like I watch a lot of the shows that are on that channel. Like Bridezilla is pure entertainment for me. What else is a show I watch? Mama June from Hot to Not. Me and Des both watch that together. Des watches it to laugh at it more so. He doesn't really watch it like I do. But I can see myself doing commentary on those shows, but I can't do all the reality TV shows because I don't watch them. And I hate to say it, but I don't care enough about them to want to watch them because it's like, sometimes it just be too much. But and our people love it. Look, I don't have time, honey. We're not doing this either because people start off being nice and then they be trying to troll from another page. I don't got time for it, y'all. I'm with all the blocks tonight. You get a block. You get a block. You get a block. Stop playing with me. Go play on somebody else's channel, not mine. All right. Okay. So, enough about that reality TV stuff, but that's something I'm thinking about. And then with the collabs, like I am gonna be doing more collabs. I honestly am gonna look within the engagement groups that I'm in for some of those because I know a lot of people will tell you you want to look for somebody with similar subscriber count, view count, blah blah blah. I will for some of them, but there's some people that I just see their potential and they are a new channel and they don't have a lot of subscribers. As long as you can get your video out and you're willing to do the work, I don't care about your subscriber count. I just want us to vibe and get together and do some things differently in 2020. I'm even going to be collaborating with Des. He don't know it yet, but we're going to be on here too. He's already my live buddy. So in this cup, I have some rum cake that I got from my dad's house. So if y'all see me eating it, that's what I'm eating.
Yeah.
Don't let Dad talk, y'all. My mouth dry.
A few of the things that I've been looking at and kind of paying attention to for the last couple of months have been effective communication, which you don't really think about it as being a problem until you actually sit down and think about it. That people um, communicate, although we all say words, sometimes we're not very clear in what we're saying, especially when we know people very well. Sometimes we take the fact that we think we know them and make an assumption about what they're saying instead of listening to understand them. And I think that's something that I definitely want to work on and getting to actually understand people. I was listening to a podcast. He was saying, well, how much do we really know the people we call our friends? And that was a very interesting comment because you really don't. Sometimes we think because we've been around people for so long that we know them very well, and that's not always the case.
That's true.
We learn them in the time we've been around them, and we kind of just sit back and we sit back and we just kind of go off of what we've seen since then. But a lot of times we're not vulnerable around certain people enough to actually sit down and talk about past issues and mental health and parents and all of that, those things where we sit down and we do it seriously. A lot of times when it does happen, you're normally inebriated or sometimes basically you've been out drinking with your friends and sometimes you just kind of fall into that conversation and you have a nice conversation that night and then you just never go back to it and you kind of disregard what the person said because they were drinking. But I mean, we don't always get to know and understand the people that we're dealing with, and I think that's just something I want to get better at because you don't want to have something happen and then you sitting around listening to a friend. You oh I didn't know they like doing that stuff, but you call them one of your closest friends or your best friends or whatever. You just don't want to have those situations. Yeah, we all have different sets of friends. Yeah, there are certain things you don't feel comfortable talking about. But I think I want to get to that place with my friends where we are kind of comfortable. And my friends, I only have three or four. I have a lot of friends, but I only have three or four friends that we really delve deep into those conversations. So I definitely want to, with some of the friends who are willing to, get to know them on a better level past just where we met and going forward. But if we are vulnerable enough to talk about our past and kind of why we are the way we are, then it makes sense. I think
I agree.
Yosha and I kind of got to that
We're
point
we're
last
dealing with
week.
we're doing that now.
Yeah,
Like we're kind of learning each other for who we are at this moment. Like I finally let go of expecting Des to be the person that I met because he's changed. And although I don't feel that I've changed that much in what I want and things like that, his vision has changed because when I met him, he had different goals. Now his goals have shifted a little bit. So even with friends, sometimes you get so caught up in the title of somebody. Like, oh, that's my sister, that's my friend, that's my cousin, that's my dad, that you just kind of know them as my dad, my cousin, my friend, but you don't really know them. You know of them. You don't
Right.
know them for what they do. You can't even name 10 things about them.
Right.
Even though that was your friend and y'all partied together in college, or that's your sister. If you call your sister, she will pull up ready to be there for you because y'all are sisters. I'm trying to get to know my friends better. And I think those vulnerable moments are what teaches us our friends. If you really
Right.
think about it, like when somebody loses a loved one, when somebody goes through something that's hard or difficult, that's when you learn them. If you just kind of had smooth coasting, drunken memories, turning up together, y'all know that y'all like to party, but you don't know what their favorite color is. You don't know what type of music they like. When that friend says they're not into the club scene anymore because they like festivals, y'all kind of stop talking because you're not getting to know each other anymore beyond where y'all started. And as you grow up, I feel like you evolve and you become a different person. Especially with like if you're a younger relative, your older relatives may still see you as that child instead of seeing you as the grown version of yourself. Or vice versa, if you're the older relative, you may see your little brother as your little brother, but you're not hearing them when they're telling you
Their issues.
their issues or how they feel or what they want. You try to tell them, "Oh no, you don't want that. You just saying it." And they're like, "No, like they
Those are
probably
things
do
that they
know what they
want.
want. They know what they value." And so you have to appreciate them. Welcome back, Chris. You have to appreciate them telling that to you in the first place and try to embrace them for where they are. But vulnerability, it definitely reveals. And vulnerability, when somebody chooses to be vulnerable
Vulnerable.
with you and you don't react the right way, it can affect y'all relationship moving forward. They may choose not to be vulnerable with you again.
That's definitely a case, and if you're being vulnerable with somebody, you kind of have to understand that it's gonna take time too. They only know you in a certain light, so when you start showing people a different light, it takes time to come around.
That's true.
Is you're learning, in some ways to them they may feel like they're learning a new person, and they're
Yep.
not. But these are certain things that have not always been shared, so you have to give them a chance to come around. It's a 50-50 meet.
Hmm.
You can't get mad at them because they don't. But what you have to do is reiterate at certain points, especially when you feeling like you're being vulnerable. Hey, I'm being vulnerable with you. I'm trying. You got to give me a little bit of room. You may not agree with me, but at least try to listen and try to understand where I'm coming from. I think that's more important than anything, and I think that's probably one thing we deal with in the world that's just awkward. We Everybody wants to feel like they have to chase the exact same thing in order to hit success. We all feel like success is this one thing, and it's only gonna be measured in this way. And I don't think you can really do that to everybody. Everybody has different ideas of success. Everybody has different ideas of why they are, what makes them happy, and what they want to do. And it's all a necessity in order for us to make it. Everybody can't be exactly the same all the time. Excuse me, it's just not gonna work. You have to have different things and different people, excuse me, in order for things to come around. But I think you kind of have to step back and observe and understand the type of person you want to be, and where you want to go and how you want to do things and the people you want to have around you. It definitely makes a difference, and it's always going to make a difference. I feel like people just have to be willing to learn, and and still be willing to learn yourself. I think that's the last year taught me a lot of that, just learning myself, because I'm every day is growth. Every day that you get to wake up again is growth. Whether you want to grow forward or regress, that's on you. But you do have to take that time and you have to value it. Um, because it's precious, and there's gonna be certain moments you just don't get back. So I feel like definitely with us, you want to do that. And one thing that Yosha and I were speaking about was, of course, we talked about mental health is definitely taking that more seriously. We were talking last week on Christmas at my mom's house about just a lot of different stuff that me and my brother dealt with growing up, and how it definitely played more of a major role probably than um, my mom thought, or my brother's girlfriend thought, or even Yosha thought, because these are moments that you don't really expand on too much. Me and my brother talk about them all day. We sometimes we sit up and we talk about stuff and we laugh, and we laugh not as it's funny now, and it's still kind of not funny in a way if you get it. Like it's funny because you're happy that you made it through that moment, but it's still not funny. It's
That made me
still
think of Kevin Hart,
traumatic.
Laugh at My Pain.
Yeah,
If you think about that
yeah.
comedy set, the whole thing was his
His
childhood and his
traumas.
growing up, his trauma was bad, but
And
he made a joke of it
well,
to because he made it through.
yeah, it's the way you find a way to cope with
Slip this
stuff when
over.
you've never. One thing I realize is that when you don't speak on
Never mind, that didn't help. I thought it was gonna
when
help.
you don't speak on trauma very much, you start to deal with it in different ways, and a lot of it is laughter, learning how to laugh at it. And that's it's good, but it doesn't always help you to get through those moments. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to, even if you don't have somebody you feel comfortable being around, if you have the option to have therapy, then I would definitely encourage it. Go ahead and do it. It's nothing wrong with it. Although certain cultures don't speak on it very much, and sometimes they see it as a sign of weakness. It's good to get help.
I
It's
never
good
heard
to
of it
talk
as
to
a sign
folks.
of weakness, though.
Well, I have, because a lot of folks. Well, why I'm gonna go do that? What they gonna help me with? Why I need to sit down and tell somebody who don't know nothing about me and gonna sit up here and think they can fix me? People, a lot of people, especially um, a lot of in the African American community, a lot you don't hear about people um, going to like therapy, or asking for help, or even taking mental health seriously.
Right.
So I think that's something you definitely have to pay attention to, because it makes sense, and it's necessary. You hear about a lot of people who feel like they just can't tell anybody because nobody wants to understand. And you don't want to keep having these posts on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter about somebody who decided to take their life because they were trying to reach out to folks and nobody would listen. Everybody wants to be heard, everybody wants to be understood, and people want to be loved. And you definitely don't want to sit up here and be the last person somebody speaks to before they decide to voluntarily leave this world because you felt like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. I think that's just something you really do have to pay attention to, and it matters. And you definitely want to take your own mental health into consideration. I feel like a lot of people have their own outlets, and it's good to have those outlets, especially if they're healthy. But sometimes we have unhealthy habits. Sometimes we self medicate, and that's not always good because it's not fixing the problem. We feel better
Yes,
in
Lamika, it is.
it is. It's very important. We feel better in the moment. And I was listening to a podcast with Andre 3000, and Yosha listened to it Sunday. And he was just talking about some days you just don't want to feel everything. And that was something I can definitely say I deal with at times. And I think Yosha's probably caught me in the moments and not even realize she had seen me in those moments, because a lot of the time I'm quiet, or I just go in and sit off by myself, and she's just like, you just always like being just like, sometimes you don't know what to say or how to say it. And it's not her fault, because again, that's me being able to communicate effectively what I'm feeling. But you have people who they just feel everything, and they're anxious, and they don't feel like they feel. They're trying to be something that everybody wants to be, which is accepted. And you just don't always have those crowds. So I feel like that's something that you that we as people have to take into consideration, and not just with other adults, but definitely with kids. You have a lot of kids just talking to friends or looking at friends' statuses on Facebook who, right. There are kids who feel like they don't fit in, and their parents, because now we're finally starting to talk about therapy and anxiety and bipolarism and all these things that have to do with mental health, because parents are not delving into it, kids don't understand it. And the last thing that some people want to find is their kids writing suicide notes before they even get to teenage years. That those things are happening, unfortunately. And as I feel like definitely right now, as having Josiah and being a parent, I do want to start listening to Josiah more, because he does talk, and you can I'm starting to understand him more as a person versus the toddler he was last year, where he was just kind of running around just happy to be whatever. But now he'll come and talk to you and say, "Desi, I'm sad, and here's why." And I can't blow him off anymore because it matters. That those things carry with him. So I feel like those are things. Just with me, I feel like they're getting better, and even with me and my mom, they've gotten better. I can say, "Hey, mom, I'm just not feeling it today," and she's like, "Well, what's going on?" And she's listening. She's not listening to fix, but she's genuinely concerned because she hasn't always seen me like this. I've been an adult and out of her house for a little bit of time, but she hasn't been around for all of those college years. Just like I'm sure Yosha, when you lived on campus, your dad wasn't always around for all the stuff you were dealing with. You can pick up the phone and call. I mean, your situation was different. You may be down the street or 20, 30 minutes away, but when you in that dorm room and you really don't feel like walking out, you don't always you can't always have that face to face connection. Sometimes you have these phone calls and you just really want to hear it. And sometimes your parents, because of the generation that they're from, they don't get it. But I feel like if we start to take things more seriously ourselves, they kind of come around too, and it helps everybody get better. So that's some of the stuff that I'm thinking about, and those are the main things that I really want to get better with, because I feel like they're very, very, very essential. And now I'm trying to limit certain stuff that I'm looking at on social media as far as negativity and judgment, and following folks who feel like they only want to show you the best moments of their life, because that's
Well,
not.
that doesn't bother me, but I would say people that are negative, I tend to mute them, or people that post too much. I guess that is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, you have people
Like they have
who.
to post every single thing that they're
Yeah,
doing. It's not that I don't like the person anymore or I don't love them. It's just that it's too much because if I when you start liking it, then Facebook's algorithm
is to
shows you
keep
that
showing you
person.
everything
So then
all
you
the
end up
time.
seeing everything that they post and it can be annoying.
Yeah,
Especially if you're going through a bad time. It's not that you're not happy for them, but it's like
you don't want to feel
you don't want to
everything.
see it and then think about how you're not going
Yeah,
through
I mean,
you don't have what they have or whatever. You start comparing.
yeah, and
So
that's
maybe for some people they like to use, like for me, really in 2019 I started using Facebook to network with people who make YouTube
I'll be right
content.
back.
I started using it with other moms, other creators, other business owners, whatever, because that's where my mindset and my plan is. But for people that don't use YouTube, people who don't use Facebook that way, and they're actually like liking stuff all day, commenting things all day, reading comments, looking at other people's profile, you start comparing yourself to all those people. If you use your Facebook memes and funny videos and looking at tasty recipes, then you probably are not going to have those feelings of sadness because there's that stuff has no, it doesn't make you think. But when you start to, if you're in a season of a difficult time and then you're seeing all the baby showers, all the weddings, all the happy romantic couples goal pictures, but that's not where your chapter is right now, it can really strike your mental health in a way that can make you feel depressed. And so I did videos about this recently, but I think it's a good thing to do social media cleanses regularly. Sweep people that are negative, people that are complaining, people that are arguing, fighting, being negative, but then also just, you know, mute people that make you feel bad about yourself. If anything is making you feel bad about yourself, then you have to do what's best for you. It doesn't mean, and the thing is, you can mute people, you can snooze them for 30 days, whatever, and it doesn't mean that they won't even know that you did it. But it just is something for you so that you can get through your day,
Yeah.
so that you can decide what content you see
Right.
and not be controlled by everything else.
Well, and to piggyback off that, I feel like
Hey, you're here. How are
I
you? Thanks
feel
for
like
stopping by.
during
Let's
those
see.
moments, if you decide to mute somebody or snooze them or whatever, make
That's
sure
exactly
that
what I'm saying. You take that time off, and that gives you clarity because you're not fogged with everybody else's stuff and comparisons. Like I said, as a YouTuber that's connecting, I love YouTube and meeting other creators and seeing other videos. That never makes me sad, like ever, ever. But sometimes scrolling through my news feed, like I had to stop getting on my phone first thing in the morning. Not on Facebook first thing in the morning because the first thing you would see if somebody is having a bad day, they've already posted that they're having a bad day. Now you're like, dang, that sucks for them. And you see 3 or 4 of those, and the next thing you know, you're throwing off your own energy thinking about somebody else's situation. That's what I mean. Like if it's a lot of that from your people, you may need to, adjust your settings or change your routine so that you're not being disrupted.
yeah,
And
you can.
and I would say, like for me, I've been trying to start my day with positive affirmations every day. Today is gonna be a good day. Thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. Thank you for getting us home last night. Today is gonna be a good day. I'm gonna be productive. I started speaking life into myself because I stopped and it had an effect on me. So it's like if you feel like your social media is negative, you are in control of who you follow.
I agree. I think you also, when you decide to cleanse certain stuff, you have to take that step and look inside of
Exactly.
you to understand why it's having that effect on you. Because that person posting it when you're having a good day, that it rolls off your back like water. But when you're having a bad day for some reason, or you could be having a good day and it could completely throw your day into disarray. But you have to look inside of yourself and understand why you're having that issue. Because you can take 30 days, you can take a month, you can take a year away from that person. But if you don't look inside of yourself to understand what's going on, when that year is over and they come back around and you start feeling them same issues, it's not them, it's you.
That's true.
And you have to fix that issue with you. Them posting whatever they gonna post, you can't control that.
But I
You
mean, you're right. I just
no, I
I,
agree.
I just mean to like an extent.
No, I
We
agree.
all
You
have those negative Nancy type peoples or those draining people
yeah,
where it's always something.
but
Always something.
yeah, but
I
I mean,
have to mute you after a
I
while.
look at it like this. I have to have the balance. I gotta have the balance of the negative and the positive because if it's too positive all the time, I'm creating a fallacy in my mind that everybody's why is everybody's stuff all good and then I'm not having a good day.
Mm.
I gotta have that balance because that's the way the world works. When I walk out my door, I'm gonna meet some folks who gonna like to run up and speak to you and give you encouragement, and you gonna run up on some folks who just might flip you the bird and keep moving. You gotta have that balance, but it's that mental stability that allows that balance to work. Like earlier this year, I was battling within myself
Yes,
because
empaths. Are
I
you an
was
empath? Do you consider yourself an empath?
like showing empathy with people.
Empath means, yeah, basically it
Yeah,
means you take on the emotions of others very easily. I
depending.
do.
It depends. It really does depend on where I am. Certain things, yes. Other things, not really. So with me, it just depends on exactly what that thing is. If it's something that I feel like I'm going through, then yeah, I can definitely pull that emotion. But I
I,
also try to and
I would say
sometimes
I'm an empath. And I say that because I remember that I had bought a thank you card for an associate that was having surgery. And then I found out, like a week later, when the associate went on a leave of absence, that he passed away. And when I found out, I just started crying. I don't know the family. I just did it to be nice. But it still like hurt me like I knew that associate and I knew this. I don't, I get drained because I'm caring about what other people think. Sometimes I wish I didn't care. Trying to fix it.
Well, that's interview always because I feel like it's a necessity going into the situation. If I'm willing to really want to make the best of it, I have to kind of see it from both sides. Because if I'm just thinking about it from my side, I'm not taking the full situation into effect. I can't. It's not good for me to try to victimize the other person because that's what happens a lot when you look at situations just from your view. Like you want it to stop, but you want it to stop in the way you want it to. And I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not doing that as much. I'm trying to say, okay, well, if it stops, it may not be beneficial to me, but that's the situation. Every situation is not going to be beneficial to me. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, it's not always going to be beneficial to me. It's not always going to work out in my favor. Sometimes it's not even about me. I just happen to be the person that's there. So I try to look at things a little bit. I'm trying to get better with looking at things a little bit differently. And what I've realized is sometimes in that moment you can't take the time to understand that because in the moment we're thinking about ourselves. But I'm trying to understand and get better at stepping back a little bit and listening to understand. Just really trying to get understanding. I ain't gotta agree with you because 9 times out of 10, and Yoshi and I had this conversation. A lot of folks ain't gonna agree with me. I'm just naturally to the left. Everybody go right, and my question is why is everybody going right? I want to know why. Like, what's the purpose behind everybody going right? Are we all just going right because we going, or is there a reason behind it? Because if it ain't no reason, I'm finna go out here and figure out what's on the left. And I'm finna explore it. I'm finna learn. I'm finna grow. We finna get better. But just to follow,
You caught that nod.
just to follow and go to the right for the sake of going to the right, I can't do it. It doesn't sit well with
Husband
me. It
always
makes
has
me
to be the
feel
one to propose a question or
always. I
ask,
want to know
no
why.
matter what.
I've
It
always
could
been
be,
like,
yeah. Desmond's gonna be like, no.
but I want to know why everybody's saying, yeah. It's not just for the sake of.
I'm
it's not.
sorry.
It's not just for the sake of doing it. It's because I would like to understand if there's a reason behind it. I just want to. I want to know. But that's I've been like that for a long time. Even my mom can tell you that. I've always been the person who's just everybody want to go to the right. I'm going to the left. Deuces. I'm gonna sit over here by the left till y'all figure out what's going on over there. I'm gonna sit by myself. I'm just somebody who likes to be isolated too, and I think that's a good reason, good bit of the reason why I do it. I like being by myself, and I think that's kind of a part of a love language. I like personal time and personal space because a lot of times I'm sitting here processing stuff and I'm in the middle of processing it. You sitting over here and you saying, hey, let's go sit down and do this, you're going to think, well, dang, he just being rude and just not paying attention. And my brain is that meme that's been on Facebook for the last, it's 17 windows open, 4 of them are frozen, music's playing, and I don't know where it's coming from. That's my brain on a normal basis. Everything is clicking in my brain at the moment. So if I'm isolated, it's not just to be rude. It's normally because I'm somewhere way off in my own head, and I don't want to sit up here and ruin anybody else's time just because I'm not sitting in there and clicking. So I mean, I'm all to the left, and Yosha knows when I come back in, I'll try to go with the flow. I'm not gonna try to ruin anybody's time, but I mean, I'm just not gonna have the same exact attitude as everybody else going towards that situation.
Yeah. I'm still learning to cope with that because it can be frustrating sometimes. But
Yeah, like I said, I got a few close friends who really get it. And it took them a while to get it. It took them years to get it. I got the guy who's the best man, my best man. It took him about 4 years. We were in college for 4 years. It took him probably 3 of those 4 years to really start getting it, to start understanding. He's just like, you're not just trying to be rude. That's just you. And even like it's days where I can't explain it. Yosha asked me, I'm just like, I don't know. It just don't feel right. It's different. And I wanted, at one point, I really wanted it to change. I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted it to be like, okay, I can fit in and I can kind of just go. I can't do it. I can, but it don't always feel right. And I feel like some days I have to speak up because when I don't, I end up in some jacked up situation that I could have avoided had I just been honest and spoken up in the first place.
Well, I see that some people have dropped off, and I think this is a good time for us to get ready to close. I will likely be back next week on Wednesday around the same time. I do want to thank all of you that
Well,
participated
our numbers are going back up
in the
now.
first live of 2020. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. And I think when we come back next week, I'm going to challenge y'all, if y'all are still here, I'm going to challenge you to come back next week with one thing that you are appreciative of already in 2020. So, over the next week, I want y'all to think of something that y'all are grateful for. And so, when we get back together this next Wednesday for our live, we can start with that and just see where the conversation takes us. But I'm gonna really try to start doing the weekly lives between 8:30 and 9 every week for about an hour to an hour and a half. That way we can wrap up before 10 o'clock because I have to work, y'all.
And Saya has to go to
And
bed on
Josiah is
time
gonna have to go to bed on time
because
because
he
he
starts
been
school
wilding
Monday.
since school been out for the holiday. Well, I love you too, Lamika. I appreciate your support, and you about to get ready to go back to school too. So I want y'all to be able to come and join me. I think I was doing my lives too late for some of my people that work. And Wednesday seems to get better traffic than Friday because you know people do stuff on the weekends. I be doing stuff on the weekends. So yes, I'm gonna try to come back Wednesday at eight
Thank you,
thirty.
Lamika.
Thank you for letting us know. Like that's my whole theme behind my channel is transparency. You know, I'm here for the real talk, the reviews, and lifestyle because I want people to understand like what really happened and my testimony to be authentic. So, but yes, I challenge you to spend the next week thinking of something that you're grateful for. A lot of times people only think about gratitude during November because Thanksgiving comes around.
Calling off on Monday. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm just telling you, don't do that. You know, be grateful all the time. I'm telling you, I've read this book. I'm still reading it. But she said, if you think of something every, like, you know, every week, I challenge myself every day because I had to get my mental health back to a place of positivity because I had been in a complaining area in my life for so long that I was like, I can't do this anymore. I want to be happy. If you start thinking of something that makes you happy, something that you're proud of, something that you're thankful for, and you keep that in your mind each day, each week, as often as you can, it will improve the quality of your life this year because you will not be focused on what isn't. You will be focused on what is and where you want to be and how you're going to get there.
Yeah, very
I'm
true.
telling you, like
Very, very
I'm
true.
telling you, my happiness has improved organically just from doing that. And if you, I'm not, I write in my journal, but I stopped
Yeah.
because I'm not really a big writer, but I'm starting to become one
Yeah.
because I'm starting to write down this is what I accomplished today. This is what I'm proud of today. This is what I'm thankful for today. And then when you look back over it, that's something that really made me smile. I had a journal when I was trying to get a new job. I was writing down my every move, what I wanted to do. I wrote down what I wanted. I wrote down everything that I desired in my mind. And when it came into fruition, it was literally everything I wrote on the paper. I mean, down to the salary. It was everything that I wrote down on the paper. And then I kind of stopped doing it for whatever reason. But as I was reflecting at the end of the year, literally like in the last few days, I was reading over those old entries in my notebook and I was like, oh my gosh, the power of what you believe and speak on your life. You have to, no matter what you're going through, currently, you have to continue to speak that positivity over your life. You have to continue to affirm yourself and affirm the people around you. And as you continue to do that, that's what you'll attract. But the more that you complain and you talk about what you don't want, what you don't like, what you hate, baby, that's what you're gonna get because you're being negative. It's not a good thing. I actually have thought about doing a blog. I thought about doing a blog and a website because YouTube changes stuff too much for me. Okay, I done been on here for like, it was 2020. I've been on here since 2009, and it's 2020. I've been a partner since 2009. I've been on YouTube since 2008. I've been a partner since 2009. And on and off consistent because I'm 26. So when I started my channel, I was a child. Oh, not a child. I was a teenager. I was in high school. So I've been through it all. Back then, you could get monetized with a certain amount of views. You didn't have to have a certain amount of subscribers. I didn't have 1,000 subscribers until I was in college because that's when I started doing a lot of like experiences content, giving relationship advice and all that. I don't have a Patreon, but I know what Patreon is because my husband listens to podcasts, and one of the ones that we listen to, the guy actually went to Patreon because he's charging for the podcast, right?
Yeah, he has
So that's
a
like a vision. I could see us having like a real talk live podcast. I could see it because a lot of folks listen to podcasts. So
yeah, he has a kid on the way
I
and
gotta
is
see.
kind of monetizing his side hustle to
You
his main
you
hustle. So
gotta monetize, honey.
yeah, he
People seem to take you seriously when you start charging for stuff. When you be giving
sometimes
stuff for free, people don't want to take you seriously. When you say it costs, they start to your credibility seem to just
yeah
people perceive you differently, and it's
yeah.
sad, but it's true.
And one of his newer podcasts that's available on his Patreon is actually pretty good. It's called Pillow Talk, and they just talk about a variety of things from mental health to communication, intimacy, things like that. So they kind of keep everything on the table, and it's black folks for those who care. Um, it's a black lady and a black man. So if you care about that, then that's definitely support. And the cheapest one they have is $3 a month. But they talk about a lot of different stuff, and it's actually very eye opening because that's where I started to think about a lot of stuff as far as communication and really knowing people and dealing with trauma. Because a lot of times we don't deal with trauma very well. We just kind of bypass it and laugh it off, and our parents do it too. Because when you go to them family reunions and they get to talking about how granddad or grandmama was whooping behinds and all that stuff, for some reason, them stories seem to come up a lot more than some of the other stories. But definitely very grateful for everybody who gave us a piece of their day. Hopefully, we were able to shine a good light.
On
And
the first day of 2020
yeah,
for you.
shine a good light and give you
And
some good encouragement words and just kind of bring in the new year on a good foot. We definitely
yep.
appreciate you for letting us come into your day. And
That and also just setting the tone for the new year. Like
right,
I'm praying for prosperity, growth, happiness, peace, and all the things that you desire to be achieved to come into fruition for all of you that are watching. All of you that aren't watching, those of you that may come and watch it afterwards. I just want to say thank you. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. If you're going to work tomorrow, let it be a great day. And I will see y'all next week. Be sure to check out the scheduled videos on my channel. I have plenty of videos. I have videos for months, literally, that you could go watch. So check those out. You have anything you want to say, like your
um,
business or pages or whatever?
MMC Art Design on Instagram. If you are looking for any kind of custom hand painted wood art, press T-shirts, different stuff like that, by all means, let me know. I understand if you are Greek. Founders Day is right around the corner, so if you're looking for new merchandise, please let me know. And if I can't get it for you, I'll definitely point you in the direction of someone who can.
Yes. Alrighty, well, y'all have a great night. I will see y'all. Be blessed, Lamika. Be blessed, everybody. And we'll see y'all next week.
Have a nice night, everybody.
Bye. Oh, wait, let me say bye.